Put this video on hold for a moment. Go make yourself a cup of coffee. This matters because the information that follows is not meant to be heard passively. After 4 decades working in emergency medicine, one reality becomes obvious. The majority of physical decline does not arrive all at once. It develops quietly. While you go through ordinary routines, including drinking your morning coffee, changes are taking place beneath the surface. The repair mechanisms that once helped rebuild muscle tissue, regulate body fat, and maintain strength are still present. However, many of those systems have become inactive. Day after day, most people unknowingly keep them that way. Coffee is not the issue. In fact, it may serve as one of the strongest daily triggers available. But that only happens when it is used in the right way. Otherwise, it moves through the body with little effect on the deeper biological functions that require support. Many adults past 60 take numerous supplements, follow strict nutrition plans, and remain physically active, yet still experience fatigue, weakness, and unwanted weight gain. The reason is not always a lack of effort. Often, a small activation step is missing. A simple action that can influence how the body responds internally. The following discussion examines 5 powders and compounds that can be mixed directly into coffee. They are arranged from the least powerful to the most powerful. The 5th compound is cinnamon. Most people view cinnamon as nothing more than a flavoring used in desserts or seasonal beverages. Yet Ceylon cinnamon, the authentic variety originating from Sri Lanka, is considered one of the most overlooked metabolic compounds available. It is important to separate Ceylon cinnamon from the more common cassia cinnamon found in many stores. Cassia contains substantial amounts of coumarin, a substance that may contribute to liver damage when consumed over long periods. Ceylon cinnamon contains very little coumarin, making it a safer option for everyday use. It is also regarded as more effective for the benefits discussed here. Research published in the Journal of Medicinal Food during 2011 reported that cinnamon polyphenols activated AMPK, an enzyme frequently described as the body's master metabolic switch. When AMPK becomes active, the body shifts away from storing fat and toward using fat as fuel. Investigators observed that participants using cinnamon extract experienced a 14% reduction in fasting blood glucose and a measurable decrease in waist size after 12 weeks. The connection to stem cells is especially interesting. A study published in Stem Cells Translational Medicine in 2019 found that cinnamaldehyde, the primary active compound in Ceylon cinnamon, increased both migration and proliferation of mesenchymal stem cells by up to 40%. These stem cells are responsible for helping repair bone, cartilage, and connective tissues, areas that commonly deteriorate after age 60. The compound appears to work by lowering chronic low-grade inflammation, which is one of the leading reasons stem cells become inactive. Inflammation can be compared to static interfering with a radio signal. The body continuously sends instructions directing stem cells toward areas requiring repair. Persistent inflammation disrupts those messages, causing stem cells to respond less effectively. Cinnamon helps reduce that interference. For maximum benefit, approximately half a teaspoon of organic Ceylon cinnamon powder can be mixed into hot coffee each morning. Heat may help release a greater amount of the active polyphenols. After stirring, allow the mixture to rest for about 2 minutes before drinking. Some individuals combine it with a small quantity of healthy fat, such as coconut oil or grass-fed butter, because this may improve absorption of fat-soluble compounds. When purchasing, check labels carefully. Certain products contain cassia cinnamon while being marketed in ways that create confusion. Look specifically for the words Ceylon or Cinnamomum verum. Consistency is more important than quantity. Research showed the most meaningful improvements in blood sugar control and inflammatory markers after at least 8 weeks of continuous use. For older adults, stable blood sugar may provide an additional advantage because insulin resistance contributes significantly to age-related fat accumulation around the abdomen. When blood sugar remains steady, the body produces less excess insulin. Lower insulin levels make it easier to access stored fat for energy. Another study published in Phytomedicine during 2016 found that daily cinnamon supplementation lowered C-reactive protein, an important marker of systemic inflammation, by 26% among adults older than 55. Reduced inflammation supports clearer stem cell signaling, improved tissue maintenance, and a metabolic environment more favorable for fat reduction. The fourth compound is collagen peptides. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the human body and accounts for roughly 30% of all protein found in skin, bones, ligaments, and tendons. Beginning around age 25, collagen production declines by approximately 1% each year. By the time a person reaches 60 or 70 years of age, the cumulative loss becomes substantial. This decline contributes to wrinkles, joint discomfort, weakening of the gut lining, and increased bone fragility. Many people associate collagen supplements exclusively with cosmetic benefits. That assumption overlooks their broader role. Collagen peptides are collagen proteins broken into smaller fragments that the body can absorb more easily. Evidence suggests these peptides can directly affect stem cell activity. A study published in Nutrients during 2019 reported that certain collagen peptides increased proliferation of human bone marrow-derived mesenchymal stem cells by as much as 200% compared with control groups. These peptides appeared to provide both structural materials and biological signals needed to reactivate dormant stem cells and encourage division. Research conducted at Kiel University in Germany and published during 2015 found that participants consuming 5 grams of collagen peptides daily for 8 weeks experienced a 20% improvement in skin elasticity, along with meaningful gains in joint comfort. The effects on body composition attracted additional attention. A clinical trial published in the British Journal of Nutrition during 2019 showed that collagen peptide supplementation, combined with light resistance exercise, increased lean muscle mass and reduced fat mass in elderly men. Participants gained an average of 3 pounds of lean muscle, while losing nearly 4 pounds of body fat over a 12-week period. Additional muscle mass increases resting metabolic rate, allowing the body to burn more calories even during periods of inactivity. Preparing collagen peptides in coffee is straightforward. Hydrolyzed collagen peptides dissolve easily in both hot and cold beverages without noticeably affecting flavor or texture. Add 1 or 2 scoops, typically 10 to 20 grams, directly into coffee and stir until dissolved. The temperature of coffee does not damage collagen peptides because those proteins have already been broken apart through hydrolysis during production. For better uptake, consume collagen mixed into coffee when your stomach is relatively empty, rather than alongside a large, heavy meal. Some findings indicate that vitamin C may help support collagen formation inside the body. Because of that, adding a small squeeze of lemon into a glass of water before drinking coffee may help strengthen the overall effect. When selecting collagen peptides, seek products sourced from grass-fed bovine collagen or wild-caught marine collagen. Marine collagen contains smaller peptide structures, and several studies suggest its absorption rate may be up to 1.5 times greater than collagen obtained from bovine sources. Stay away from products containing added sugar, artificial flavoring, or unnecessary fillers. The relationship between collagen and stem cell activity becomes even more significant when considering its amino acid profile. Collagen peptides are especially rich in glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. These 3 amino acids are directly involved in tissue repair and regeneration. Glycine in particular has demonstrated benefits for mitochondrial performance in aging cells. Healthy mitochondria are essential because stem cells require large amounts of energy to divide and develop into new tissue. A review published in Aging Research Reviews during 2020 confirmed that glycine supplementation among older adults improved indicators of cellular health associated with stem cell survival. For older individuals coping with joint discomfort, fragile bones, loose skin, delayed recovery, or persistent body fat, collagen peptides added to a daily cup of coffee represent one of the simplest approaches supported by current evidence. The next compound introduces a much stronger effect on both fat utilization and cellular restoration. The third compound is cacao powder. Raw cacao should not be confused with the processed cocoa, commonly found in packaged hot chocolate products. Raw cacao comes from cacao beans that have not been heavily processed or heated. It contains a remarkable concentration of bioactive substances that researchers now describe as some of the most powerful natural stem cell activators ever examined. The standout compound in cacao is a flavonoid known as epicatechin. A landmark investigation conducted by the University of California, San Francisco, and published in 2014, reported that epicatechin increased circulating stem cell counts in elderly participants by nearly 300% after only 30 days of use. That figure is remarkable, because many pharmaceutical approaches cannot achieve comparable stem cell mobilization without significant side effects. Epicatechin functions by encouraging nitric oxide production within blood vessels. This improves circulation throughout the body. Improved circulation allows more oxygen and nutrients to reach tissues, including the bone marrow where stem cells are produced. It can be compared to clearing a blocked garden hose. Once full flow returns, everything farther down the line benefits. Raw cacao also demonstrates notable effects on fat metabolism. Research published in Nutrition during 2015 found that participants consuming cacao rich in flavonoids experienced a 19% increase in fat oxidation during moderate physical activity compared with those receiving a placebo. Fat oxidation refers to the process in which stored fat is broken down and used as fuel rather than relying primarily on circulating glucose. For older adults struggling with abdominal fat that remains despite dietary adjustments, this finding is particularly relevant. Flavonoids from cacao also improve insulin sensitivity, one of the major contributors to age-related weight gain. Preparation is simple. Add 1 tablespoon of raw organic cacao powder directly into coffee. Stir thoroughly, or use a handheld frother until fully blended. The result is a richer flavor with a subtle chocolate character that many people enjoy. The crucial factor is choosing raw cacao instead of Dutch processed cocoa. Dutch processing uses alkali to reduce acidity, but the method can destroy up to 90% of the beneficial flavonoids. Always look for labels stating raw or minimally processed. Absorption may be further improved by adding a small pinch of black pepper. Black pepper contains piperine, a compound reported in research published in Planta Medica, to increase the bioavailability of plant polyphenols by as much as 2,000%. Another major advantage of raw cacao for older adults involves brain-derived neurotrophic factor, commonly known as BDNF. A study published in Frontiers in Nutrition during 2020 found that regular cacao intake increased BDNF levels by approximately 20% among adults over 60. BDNF functions much like fertilizer for brain cells. It also contributes to activation of neural stem cells responsible for maintaining and restoring brain tissue. As a result, cacao may assist not only with fat metabolism and tissue repair, but also with cognitive performance and protection against age-related mental decline. Raw cacao offers another benefit through its magnesium content. Just 1 tablespoon provides approximately 25 milligrams of magnesium, a mineral many older adults do not consume in adequate amounts. Magnesium participates in more than 300 enzymatic reactions throughout the body. Many of these reactions influence stem cell signaling and fat metabolism. Research published in Nutrients during 2018 found that magnesium deficiency was directly linked to greater visceral fat accumulation and impaired stem cell differentiation in adults older than 50. By adding raw cacao to morning coffee, an individual may help address this deficiency while also receiving concentrated amounts of epicatechin and other flavonoids that support dormant stem cell activity. The next compound may be the most unexpected item discussed so far. Researchers suggest it has the potential to reshape our understanding of aging. The second compound is lion's mane mushroom powder. Lion's mane has been used for centuries in traditional Chinese medicine. However, only within the last decade have Western researchers begun uncovering the full extent of its biological effects. 2 unique substances found specifically in lion's mane, known as hericenones and erinacines, possess the unusual ability to cross the blood-brain barrier and directly stimulate production of nerve growth factor. Nerve growth factor, or NGF, is a protein essential for the survival, maintenance, and regeneration of neurons and neural stem cells. A landmark study published in the International Journal of Medicinal Mushrooms during 2015 found that lion's mane extract increased NGF synthesis in human cells by as much as 400% under laboratory conditions. Very few natural or synthetic substances are known to elevate NGF production to that extent. For older adults, this finding is highly significant because declining neural stem cell activity is closely associated with memory loss, cognitive decline, and a greater likelihood of neurodegenerative disorders. The advantages of lion's mane extend beyond the brain. A study appearing in Biomedical Research during 2017 reported that elderly participants using lion's mane supplementation for 16 weeks experienced meaningful reductions in body fat percentage, along with improvements in metabolic markers including triglycerides and LDL cholesterol. Its influence on fat metabolism occurs through several mechanisms. Lion's mane activates AMPK in a manner similar to cinnamon. It also improves lipid metabolism within the liver, helping the body process and remove stored fat more effectively. Research conducted at Tohoku University in Japan and published in 2013 showed that polysaccharides extracted from lion's mane increased bone marrow stem cell proliferation by roughly 150% in animal models. The findings suggested a broad stem cell activation effect that extends far beyond the nervous system alone. Lion's mane also contains potent beta-glucans that help regulate immune function without pushing the immune system into overactivity. This is especially important for older adults, whose immune systems are often both weakened and affected by chronic inflammation at the same time. To add lion's mane to coffee, choose a premium organic lion's mane powder or extract and mix approximately half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon into your morning cup. The taste is very mild. It carries a subtle earthy note with a slight natural sweetness and blends easily with coffee. When selecting a product, look for those that mention dual extraction methods. This means both hot water extraction and alcohol extraction were used during production. Different beneficial compounds found in lion's mane dissolve in different mediums. Products relying on only one extraction process may leave out important active ingredients. Extracts derived from the fruiting body are generally viewed as superior to mycelium on grain products, which frequently contain larger amounts of starch filler and lower concentrations of active compounds such as hericenones and erinacines. Consistency remains essential. The research demonstrating cognitive improvements in elderly participants involved daily supplementation for at least 8 to 16 weeks before meaningful changes became noticeable. This is not an immediate solution. Instead, it represents a gradual restoration of biological systems that may have been declining for decades. A study published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience during 2021 reported that adults between 60 and 80 years of age who used lion's mane supplementation improved cognitive test scores by an average of 14%, compared with placebo participants after 12 weeks. Brain imaging also revealed increased activity in regions linked to memory formation and learning. Researchers observed that these improvements corresponded with elevated markers associated with neural stem cell activity. Their conclusion suggested lion's mane was not simply covering up symptoms, but was actively supporting regeneration of neural tissue. For individuals over 60 concerned about memory lapses, reduced mental clarity, or declining cognitive sharpness, lion's mane mushroom powder stands as one of the most promising natural options supported by modern scientific evidence. Now we come to the strongest compound discussed in this entire list. The research surrounding it has been described as groundbreaking. The number one compound is resveratrol. Resveratrol is the molecule that Harvard geneticist Dr. David Sinclair identified as one of the most significant discoveries in the field of aging science. It occurs naturally in the skins of red grapes, Japanese knotweed, and several berry varieties. As a member of the polyphenol family, resveratrol has been examined in more than 12,000 published studies. What separates resveratrol from every other compound discussed here is its capacity to activate sirtuins, a group of proteins frequently referred to as longevity genes. Sirtuins function as key regulators of cellular repair, DNA protection, and stem cell preservation. When sirtuins remain active, stem cells maintain youthful function. When their activity declines, aging progresses more rapidly. A pivotal study published in Cell during 2016 by Dr. Sinclair's research group showed that resveratrol increased activation of SIRT1, the most extensively studied sirtuin, by as much as 13 times above baseline. This response closely mirrored the biological effects associated with calorie restriction, the only intervention previously shown to extend lifespan across nearly every species examined. The implications for stem cells were substantial. Additional research published in Cell Stem Cell during 2017 demonstrated that resveratrol reactivated dormant stem cells in aged human tissue samples by more than 1,000% compared with untreated controls. Scientists observed that senescent stem cells, which had completely ceased dividing, resumed proliferation within 72 hours after exposure to resveratrol. Its influence on fat metabolism proved equally impressive. A randomized controlled trial published in Cell Metabolism during 2012 found that obese adults consuming 150 milligrams of resveratrol daily for 30 days developed metabolic responses resembling those produced by endurance exercise training. Their resting metabolic rate increased. Markers of inflammation associated with visceral fat fell by 37%. Fat stored within the liver, known as intrahepatic lipid content, declined by 40%. These outcomes are typically associated with months of demanding exercise, yet participants made no other changes to their daily routines. For older adults, applying this information is straightforward. Choose a high-quality trans resveratrol powder, the biologically active form, and add between 100 and 250 milligrams to morning coffee. Trans resveratrol mixes well into warm beverages and has only a faint bitterness that coffee generally conceals. One preparation detail is especially important. Resveratrol is fat-soluble. Its absorption rises significantly when consumed alongside dietary fat. Adding 1 tablespoon of MCT oil, coconut oil, or grass-fed butter to coffee creates an effective delivery system. Some studies suggest this approach may improve bioavailability by as much as 5 times compared with consuming resveratrol alone on an empty stomach. Store resveratrol powder away from direct sunlight and excessive heat because ultraviolet exposure and prolonged high temperatures gradually degrade the compound. The brief heat exposure from coffee does not appear sufficient to cause significant breakdown. Resveratrol derived from Japanese knotweed is generally considered one of the most concentrated and cost-effective supplement sources available. A study published by the University of Exeter in BMC Cell Biology during 2019 found that resveratrol analogs not only reactivated stem cells, but also restored their ability to differentiate into specific tissue types. In other words, the stem cells were not merely multiplying. They retained the ability to become functional heart cells, bone cells, and blood vessel cells. That distinction is critical. Having more stem cells is one thing. Having stem cells capable of performing their intended roles is another. Regarding fat metabolism, resveratrol promotes mitochondrial biogenesis. This means it signals cells to produce additional mitochondria, the structures responsible for generating energy and burning fat. Research published in Nature during 2012 reported that resveratrol increased mitochondrial numbers in muscle tissue by approximately 60% among aged subjects. The result was cellular energy capacity, more characteristic of significantly younger tissue. More mitochondria mean greater fat-burning potential throughout the day and even during sleep. These are the 5 compounds discussed for addition to morning coffee. Ceylon cinnamon may help stabilize blood sugar while reducing inflammation. Collagen peptides provide structural support for tissue maintenance. Raw cacao supplies flavonoids associated with stem cell activity. Lion's mane supports neural pathways and cognitive function. Resveratrol influences cellular repair systems linked to longevity. Together, these compounds have been examined in scientific studies and clinical research. They are widely available, relatively affordable, and simple to incorporate into a daily routine. Long-term consistency remains the central factor behind the results described throughout this discussion. If you found this information valuable, share your thoughts below and let us know which of these compounds interests you most. Stay tuned for future discussions covering additional research and practical health strategies. Please leave your thoughts about this content in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.